Welcome back, everybody. We're going to make another program now. You can just put it wherever you want in the same project. This one is going to also be a console program, and it's going to be called Quadratic Formula. Quadratic Formula. You probably have one of the program that does exactly this on your TI-84 calculator. We're going to write it in Java. And it's basically going to, no surprise, do the quadratic formula. Hopefully you know the quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Hopefully that's not new to you as a senior or junior in high school. So the first thing we should probably do is ask the user, what is a, b, and c, because you need those things for the quadratic formula. So there should probably be doubles. Double a equals, the command is read double. We haven't used that a lot, but it's like read int or read line. Enter a. Double b is read double. Enter b. And again, I'm going to go pretty quickly, but if you need to pause this or slow down, that's totally up to you. Feel free to pause it. Not expecting you to kind of keep up with me. I would usually go much slower in class. Okay, now we know that the quadratic formula gives you two solutions, two x's. Usually in math, your teacher may have called those like x sub 1 and x sub 2. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say double x1, which is basically the first x, or x sub 1, is equal to, okay, here we go, quadratic formula. X equals parentheses on top of the fraction, negative b. We're just going to do the plus here. And now we have a little bit of a problem because it's the square root. And I don't think actually we know yet how to do square roots. But fortunately, let's take a little break and talk about how you do square roots. So this is my first little adventure into math in Java. There's a class called capital M Math. And it has a bunch of mathematical methods, pretty much representing anything you might want to do on your calculator. The first one is square root, although it's pronounced squirt. So if you say capital M Math dot squirt 17.2, that will return a double that is the square root of 17.2. So eventually we're going to use this in the quadratic formula. Just to kind of give you the complete list of mathematical things I need you to know in the math class, there's also capital M Math dot abs, which is, of course, absolute value. So in this case, the absolute value of negative 11.65 is positive 11.65. Okay? Then the last one is exponents or powers. So we have capital M Math dot pow. This does 3 to the fourth. And you don't need to put the 0.0. I was just showing you that it's a double. So 3 to the fourth is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, which would be 81. There are lots of other methods in the math class. You can do sines, logarithms, just about anything you can do on your calculator. With a quick Google search of Java math class, that'll tell you all of them. But these are the three I need you to know, boy. These are the three I need you to know for right now. The ones I'll expect you to know on the tests, and it's also the College Board expects you to know those three for the AP exam. Okay? So back to the quadratic formula. We now want to do a square root. Now we know that it's math dot squirt. And we're taking the square root of, well, the formula is b squared. So the way you do an exponent is math dot pow, b comma 2, that's b squared. So square root of b squared minus 4 times, you can't really see that, a times c. Notice I have not just written AC or even worse 4AC. Java does not know implicit multiplication. So if you want to do multiplication, you have to put in the multiplication symbol. Then one parenthesis, notice when I type a parenthesis, it blinks over here. So it's saying this one I just closed the square root. Another parenthesis closes the whole top of the fraction. So you do 2 here. Then it's divided by parentheses 2 times a, parentheses semicolon. So that's our first solution. Oh, I went a little quickly there. There's our first one. And then we'll say, okay, well, the next one is just very similar. Double x2 is equal to, I will highlight the entire thing so you can see it again. I'm going copy, paste, and the only difference is this now becomes a minus. And then we can go ahead and print line. Your solutions are x1 and x2. Okay, let's go ahead and run that. And be careful because actually the quadratic equation you enter in has to actually have real solutions. We're going to deal with that in a second. Okay, so this does compile. I will go ahead and run it. I'll just put this over here. Quadratic formula. Wait a second for it to compile. Here we go. And I will do 1, 2, and negative 15. If you think how that factors, you should get 3 and negative 5, because that's x squared plus 2x minus 15. And you can see it's kind of tiny. Maybe hopefully you can see that in the video. Now, of course, not all things actually have solutions. So if I run this again, and let's just switch things around a little bit. Come on, compile. Let's get this up. Good. And now I will say 1, 2, let's do negative 2, and positive 15. It says your solutions are nan and nan. Nan actually stands for not a number. And if you think about the equation I just typed, you'd realize you're actually taking the square root of a negative number. So we might actually go back to our program and modify it so we don't actually get nan. You can think these lines are only the right thing to do if the equation actually has real solutions. Let's suggest an if statement. If, well, what's under the square root in the quadratic equation is b squared minus 4ac. So let's say if math.pow b comma 2 minus 4 times a times c, if that is less than 0, that means there's a negative under the square root. So in that case, I will just print line, no solution. And then else, I'll put a curly brace here, and then an extra curly brace there. And we'll indent these a little bit. So now it asks for a, b, and c. If what's under the square root would be negative, it prints out no solution. Then and only then does it do the quadratic formula and then print out what the solutions are. And that should compile. Go ahead and try it on any quadratic equation you can think of now. It should either say no solution or it should give you the solutions. And that's our second video.